Okay, so I remember it was January 26th, I think, of 2022. It was a Wednesday. I was bored at home, sitting in my room, and I looked over at my nightstand and saw this small 5-star notebook. It's somewhere on my desk. I think it's right here, but I don't want to pull it out because it's under some other things. There's a small 5-star notebook sitting on my nightstand. And with no plan at all, I picked it up and I began to write. I remember I wrote Wednesday, January 26th, 2022, today was a good day. And that was well over a year ago that I started writing my journals. And I can say now that I'm on my fourth journal that it really has benefited my day-to-day life. And I'd love to share with you how it has and maybe convince you to start a journal of your own. So if you like the video, and leave a comment down below if you've journaled before. I'd love to see other perspectives on this hobby, I guess. Is it a hobby? I don't really know. Initially, when I started writing my journal, I remember my only goal was to finish the page that I started because it was so challenging to find the motivation to even do that. It felt pointless to sit at my desk or at my bed and put 5 minutes of my time towards writing down a paragraph or two about my day when at the time I didn't really have any benefit to it. But after that week and a half mark where that feeling just was constantly there, it went away and I started to feel an urge to sit at my desk and actually write. And I think this came from me taking journaling and inserting it into an already set schedule that I have. I would brush my teeth, I would wash my face, get some water, and then when I head to my room, I don't know why my fingers are moving like that, but instead of going to my bed and just going to sleep or getting on my phone, I would sit at my desk and try to write a page. Also, a word of advice is don't go to your bed and write the journal, because that's what I did at first. For the first little while, I went to my bed and I wrote it, and I realized that it's really hard to find any motivation to write a journal when you're laying in bed ready to go to sleep. So instead of that, I probably recommend sitting at a chair, maybe sitting at your desk and writing. It makes it way easier. But yeah, inserting journaling into my routine before going to sleep definitely made it more of a set in stone habit rather than just a hobby that I picked up every day or two. However, one problem that I did start to run into over time is I began asking myself, why am I even doing this? Because like I said, the benefits aren't always right there in your face. And especially on the days that I just wasn't in a good mood and the last thing I wanted to do was sit down and write before I went to sleep, or maybe nothing remarkable really happened that day. I didn't have anything to write about. So I just didn't see a point in doing it. And on those days that feeling was there, I just didn't do it. I let myself win. I learned that journaling shouldn't feel like a chore. And if it does, it's okay just to skip that day. You don't want to grow resentment towards it, because if you do, that habit is just going to fade away, because you're not going to get any reward out of it. It's just going to be pure resentment. So that's what I did. I would skip a day, but I also recommend that if you're going to skip, that the next day you should go back and do your journal from the day before. You won't feel any guilt skipping if you do that. You won't feel like you missed it forever. And that's just another way you can take out a factor that may cause resentment and actually doing the journal. And it's what helped me to do it for so long, because I won't lie, I've skipped many days, and a lot of times in my journal I'll write, I'm writing this a day late, I'm writing this 2 days late. That would give you that feeling of satisfaction without sacrificing any of the enjoyment that you get out of it. Okay, so now we're going to go back to probably like the 3 or 4 week mark and talk about once it becomes a habit, because once it does, you'll see major benefits start to form. So I've been reading this book that is called The Power of Habit, and it's by Charles Duhigg. The book is somewhere on my desk, so I'll probably just put it right there, the picture of the book. And I've been reading on and off for probably about a year, probably more than that, but I don't want to say more than that, because if I do, it's going to sound like I don't read it all, but I do read it every once in a while. And I just crossed this part that's talking about these things called keystone habits, and they are habits that by implementing them in your life, you can change other aspects of your life. That's why they're called keystone habits. And I found out that journaling is such a powerful keystone habit. It essentially holds you accountable for the other things in your life, right? For example, I remember when I was first doing my journal and I was a few weeks in, I was also going to the gym at the time on an attempted day-to-day basis. I was going to the gym. And I remember I would go to the gym and I would be satisfied with going and I'd be happy about it. Like I just knocked out another task for the day. I would get home, I would do my other things, and before I go to bed, I would get to my journal and I'd write down, I went to the gym that day. That same satisfaction would pop up again, and it essentially gave me another small win for the same task I already did. I found this so valuable because what it did is it made habit forming much easier, because I was just holding myself accountable for the things I wanted to accomplish, and it was just a way for me to progress to where I wanted to be. So of course there are other more obvious benefits, such as it allows you to better respond to bad situations that you may be going through. And I realized this because, say I was like arguing with a friend, or I just wasn't in a good mood, I would go to my journal before I go to sleep and I would write down my day, and I would put that little piece of information in there. And what it did, it allowed me to see the situation from another perspective, because instead of being the person that's in the middle of it, I could look down on it on a piece of paper and almost convince myself why it's happening and how I can fix it. But again, it's a keystone habit. So by doing that and clearing my mind, I was able to go to sleep afterwards much easier. And that was just another benefit that I saw through doing a journal. So however you look at journaling, whether you take a look at the indirect or direct benefits, it's safe to say that the benefits are evident. They are there. So maybe that prompts you to go to your local Target or Walmart or store and buy yourself a journal or two. I recommend you get a journal more pleasing to the eye, because that's just another way to motivate you to do it. Because when you go and you sit at your desk and you see a aesthetic journal sitting there rather than a big blob of paper, it is definitely a way for you to say, okay, this is worth it. That's just my advice, because it definitely helped me along the way. Except one of my journals, obviously the first one was not eye pleasing. It was just a small 5-star ring. In fact, hold up. Just to show that it doesn't matter what you use, I ran out of pages in this one. This is my first journal. I ran out of pages and I didn't have time to go to the store and buy one. So for like a week, I just wrote on random pieces of paper and stuffed them back in my journal. So just to show that you don't really have to worry about what you use and to write on. Just write, and you'll still get the benefits. So yeah, that was my explanation of why you should start journaling. If you like the video, please like the video and comment down below if there's anything you'd like to see next, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you.